you say about the impact of the fashion industry on global emissions?
Obviously.
Who made a comment that really stuck in my head, that young people use Instagram to self-soothe, and at the same time they're being material that makes them hate themselves even more. What was it that triggered your body dysmorphia in so many self-help books? If they worked, wouldn't there just be one? What you go
Don't read it.
It would say, there's nothing wrong with reading the Mail online. It's just that it would say of a book like this that is going to help people is facing something which could be a crisis. And
Good morning, just gone 6:30. Welcome to the programme where we've got Kevin from the Mirror and Andrew waiting.
oh, well, we don't write at this moment. Interviewed Boris Johnson this week. But yes, as you say, Alistair, yesterday we had the pleasure of the company of Kit Malthouse.
Now, let's just take a little look at what Boris Johnson was talking about.
Yeah, something
with
of
Tom
substance
Newton-Dunn.
and importance.
Very
of course.
important.
Seemed to be a fundamental misunderstanding of why these pigs are being culled.
It's incredible.
The National Pig Association says 600 pigs were culled yesterday at a handful of farms in the UK, and 120,000 animals in total are at risk so far. These aren't pigs which are being culled to go into the food chain. That is the point. So whether you eat a bacon sandwich or not is irrelevant, because the point is these animals are being culled and then incinerated because there are not enough workers at abattoirs to slaughter them. There are not enough people, skilled people, to butcher them. And this is the point that the National Pig Association is making. It isn't about, oh, did you not realise that animals are culled because people eat animals? Yes, we know that, Prime Minister. The point is these animals are being wasted and they're being killed on the farms.
Susanna, what I don't understand... Kevin, try and help us with this.
6:51, plenty more still to come, including Jimmy Carr, Gary Neville and Greg Wise and Karen Hauer. You're watching Good Morning Britain on ITV. It's competition time now. Your chance to win £90,000 and a brand new BMW. Andy is... Look at the weather. Here's Laura.
Good morning, Britain. It's just gone 7 o'clock.
The £20 a week increase to universal credit introduced at the beginning of the pandemic to support those on low incomes comes to an end today. Charities, unions and leaders across the political spectrum have hit out against its removal amid concerns hundreds of thousands of people will be plunged into poverty.
The government has defended the cut, saying that higher wages will be the better option as the country emerges from COVID restrictions. And now we saw there the growth in food banks. I volunteer for a food bank every weekend, and they're getting more and more people coming to them. And I think we've got a graph...
Universal credit and how this £20 a week, £1,000 a year cut is going to affect them. Emma, being on universal credit, she writes, working for the emergency services, I can confirm I am poorer than pre-lockdown. My gas, electricity, council tax, water have all gone up. My wage has not. I'm in a worse position now. Gemma says the £20 universal credit uplift will affect me. I'm a single mum of 3. I'll have to reduce myself from having any food just so my children don't go hungry.
Now, there's a few on the other side. Natasha on Twitter, how are these people living without this temporary money before the pandemic? Why is it suddenly a problem? If somebody else, Tony on Twitter, if they managed before COVID and their circumstances haven't changed, why can't they manage now? Well, we're talking about 5.1 million people who are about to lose £1,000 overnight, more than £1,000.
And we will talk to a government minister about that a little bit later on. Now, though, let's find out what the Prime Minister will say today. Here's... interesting thing happened at Paris Fashion Week yesterday. It was the Louis Vuitton fashion show, and the models were walking down the catwalk when this happened. So, the group tweeted their objections to excess in the fashion industry, and they've said that President Macron needs to act now to reduce carbon emissions. Apparently, according to French Friends of the Earth, the fashion industry accounts for up to 8.5% of global greenhouse gas emissions. Laura, you're a great one for sustainable fashion, aren't you? I mean, we've seen as well when people thought that was part of the show. 17 minutes past 7, still ahead on Good Morning Britain as the government.
Now, let's get the news, travel and weather where you are.
See you in a moment. Still ahead after turning down a movie deal. 7:24 this morning. households across the country are waking up, facing the prospect of being more than £1,000 a year worse off as the universal credit uplift comes to an end.
The government says it was only ever meant to be a temporary measure to help people through the pandemic. But as households face higher living costs, there's real concern things will get worse, not better, for millions this winter. We spoke to one family who are feeling the effect. Here's Ciara Durkin. So we're joined to discuss this by former health...
Edwina Curry would like to go and get a job as a kitchen porter. Deb says our daughter is a newly qualified psychiatric nurse and a single parent. She claims universal credit. Should she go and get a better job? Carol says, I have a job. I'm a stay-at-home carer. I'd love a job with the social integration that goes with it, but no, I'm too busy saving the taxpayer over £100,000 a year. Laura says, my husband works full-time. Due to spinal damage, I'm disabled. I lost my job because of that. I have chronic illness and I'm in a wheelchair now.
There's loads and loads and loads.
Sophie says, I'm on universal credit. I have 2 young babies at home. Makes no sense for me to go and get a job, to literally be paying for the childcare for both of my children. And they go on and on. 7:44, a new free interactive online tool featuring celebrities and leading doctors is being launched to help prevent people with mental health problems reaching crisis point.
Jack stands for Just Ask a Question, and it was set up by cosmetics entrepreneur Danny Gray, who's lived with body dysmorphia since he was 14. Users can ask the site a question and watch videos with advice from specialist health professionals and listen to personal experiences from people like David Harewood, Danny himself and me. Let's just take a little look.
What you said about the bagpipe, he's got a point.
We've got the weather, depends where you are, mate.
Yeah, you do the weather, go on.
The weather?
Very much indeed. Scenes from the Conservative Party conference last
on the
night.
dance floor.
Michael Gove once caught dancing in an Aberdeen...
Doctor taking him away.
Good for them. We will talk to Greg Wise and Karen Hauer about that. There are Strictly guests this morning and they'll be joining us at about 8:40. Also, a message this morning from Andrew Pearce. Unfortunately, we didn't see him at 6:30, so I did just double-check. Are you OK? Alarm call didn't work. Mobile ran out of power.
Oh, yeah.
Even went to bed early and skipped the Spectator.
Oh.